This is Little Laveau, a magical bedtime story by Erin Rovin. My name is Little Laveau. I was born on the banks of the Mississippi River. I have many pets and lots of friends. I help all my friends when they have troubles, and I just seem to find pets. But sometimes I get into trouble, and I know it when I hear my Grams holler, "Little Laveau!" I hadn't seen my best friend Thomas for a few days, so me and Squeaker, that's my pet alligator, we decided to go and pay Thomas a visit. Hey, do you want to hear how I got Squeaker? I always wanted a pet gator, and my Gram said, "If you come across a gator with no teeth, then you can keep him." And wouldn't you know it, I did just that. I found a whole bunch of baby gators last spring. They all followed their mama into the muddy water, except for one scrawny, crazy little guy who made squeaky noises. When he opened his mouth, there wasn't one pointy gator tooth. I kept an eye out, and I fed him every day for 3 whole months until he got bigger and bigger, and then he just followed me home. He still had no teeth, so I knew Grams couldn't say no. When Grams saw Squeaker walking up to our house, she came out screaming, "Little Laveau, run inside! There's a gator behind you!" "That's right," I laughed. Grams kept a close eye on us, but she let me keep him, because a promise is a promise. And that's how I got Squeaker. Okay, so now back to Thomas. Thomas was sitting on his porch painting a picture of, well, it didn't really look like much, but a swirl of colors. Squeaker started to sun himself in the front, and some marshmallows were just quickly turning into goo from the heat. Thomas looked so sad. It just wasn't like him. He was usually joking and chasing the other kids with worms and bullfrogs, so I sat down. "Thomas, are you okay?" I said, as I inspected his mix of colors that had turned a squeak shade of green. "I'm having bad dreams," Thomas said. "I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid I'll have a nightmare." "Well," I said, "I know a thing or two about nightmares. You see, I used to get them so bad, my Grams would whip up a special tea from a special root that helped, until I figured it out. There's no need to be afraid. All bad dreams are swept away to make something beautiful. When you have a bad dream, gather up all those bad thoughts, put them in a jar. Take that jar and sprinkle those dreams right down the drain. They flow through the rivers and out into the sea. The salt water washes them clean and takes out all the scary. Then they get swept up onto the beach as grains of sand, where the sun warms the bad right out of them all day long. That's what the beautiful beach is made of. Bad dreams turn good and wonderful by the ocean and the sun." "I'll be right back, Thomas," I said as I skipped up the porch steps. "Watch Squeaker for me." I ran fast across the lawn and over the bridge dividing our houses. I flew through the front door with Grams yelling, "Close the screen door!" I went into my room and I fished out one of my jam jars that Grams gave me. And then I ran back to Thomas's house. He was so excited to get his new dream jar so he could fill it up and dump his bad dreams right down the drain. The next morning, my pet Rooster, woke me with his rooster call. I threw him some rice, and I cleaned up fast because I was so eager to see how Thomas's night was. As soon as I had finished breakfast, Graham's special cinnamon buns, I took off with Squeaker across the bridge to Thomas's house. Thomas greeted me with a hug and said, "Oh, Little Laveau, how did you know? It worked like a charm. No bad dreams for me last night. And I wasn't afraid to sleep because I knew what to do with the dreams if they were bad." I just smiled and I winked. That's right. Hey, do you want to know Graham's secret good dream tea recipe? I mean, it's mostly just chamomile, but add some rose petal to dream of all things lovely, and then 1 teaspoon of raw lavender honey to dream of all things sweet.
You are listening to Confetti Park, a podcast brought to you by ConfettiPark.com.